All right, I got cut off by the 15-minute mark. And my cat has also now joined me. So if you hear purring, it is my cat. Um, okay, so I think I was at talking about the signal phrase and that telling you where exactly the source material is found. This will really matter a lot when you've got multiple sources happening. But in this essay, you will still want to indicate what I'm talking about next is from this specific source. Um, the source material in this example, which is the italicized portion, is paraphrase. So in your own words, we're describing a moment, a brief moment in the video. We're not summarizing the entire thing. And then in parentheses, you'll see the citation. For your final draft of this essay, we'll be looking at your actual citation styles, and doing the in-text citation and the final, oh my gosh, what page is that called? The references page correctly. For this draft, I would recommend just putting in parentheses maybe the author or the title, just so you know this is where this material is coming from. It's coming from this source. And then the last part, which is the underlined part, is the explanation. So the most important part, really, in your essay, and what should constitute the longest part. Because this is in your own words, connecting the information from the source material to your main point. So that in this example, this paragraph would be about pathos and examples of how this advertisement is using music. You're using this depressing music or using emotions to make the audience feel something and to convince them not to drive drunk, because that's what this advertisement's about. So in the explanation, you're using your words to show how this scene from the ad is an example of pathos. And that should be, again, the longest part of your essay. You shouldn't solely be relying on quotations to make up the bulk of your essay. So the last part of your essay will be your conclusion. I wouldn't really worry a ton about this for the second draft. I'd worry more about it in the final draft. But basically, it should hammer home the point of your essay. So usually with the rhetorical analysis, you might conclude with a final judgment. Is the rhetoric effective at convincing their target audience? Why or why not? The one thing that you want to remember is that you're never just going to copy and paste your thesis statement into your conclusion. Do not do that. You want to, at the very least, restate it in different words. So the last thing that you'll do for this week's assignment is you're going to be working on creating an outline using this slide and also the example outline here to create your own outline for moving into your second draft. I will say that your outline does not have to follow the format or discuss only the points that are in that example outline. You might talk about audience way more. You might talk about the rhetorical situation in general way more. In that example outline, am mainly talking about the rhetorical appeals. You also want to make sure that you're writing complete sentences for your thesis statement and topic sentences. This is just so that I can really get a feel for, yes, you understand how to write a thesis statement. Yes, you understand how to write topic sentences. You need to make sure you include at least 2 quotes or description of some visual or auditory element of the artifact. So you might use quotes if you have a textual artifact, like the advertisement that we looked at. You might describe the auditory element of the music being related to pathos. If you're using a visual artifact, you might discuss some element of how the expression on the people's faces look, whatever that might be. And make sure that you are putting your direct quotes in quotation marks so that you remember this is a direct quote, this wasn't my own words. And also make sure that somewhere in that outline that you're including a link to your artifact. That will help me know, yes, they have a source for this artifact, this is where I can find it, and it'll ensure that you're not just plagiarizing by not including some sort of source for where you're finding this information. So that is your major assignment this week. You'll also do a little free write on rhetorical analysis strategies, so make sure you take a look at that. Otherwise, I'll just remind you again, Thursday during class time, we'll be doing that optional Zoom meeting. Please come to that. You might end up seeing my cats. We can have a good time, chat, answer questions, and all of that. Otherwise, reach out to me if you're having any issues, and I will see you next week.